Good morning, traders, and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Wednesday, December 10th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're down a tenth of 1%, down 0.10%. Not worried about it. Today's Fed day. You often see weakness going into the day of a Fed decision. And let's face it, the Fed is expected to come out with a 25 basis point rate cut today. Now, that normally would be positive for the markets, but that 25 basis rate cut is kind of priced in. And when Powell starts his commentary, expect him to be hawkish in nature. And, he may say something like, we need to take some time to actually study the incoming data because we've been without data for a couple of months. So be on lookout for a cautious or hawkish Fed commentary from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell today. President Trump's out there saying that he is going to do a final round of interviews for a replacement to Jerome Powell as Fed chair. Last week he said he had made up his mind. Now he's saying he's going to do another round of interviews. Kevin Hassett did come out and say that he's not going to be swayed by commentary from President Trump if he asks him to push interest rates lower, but we'll see. Yeah, he's going to do another round of interviews. What to watch for today? There's a host of tech companies that are going to be presented today at the Barclays conference, and then there's the Goldman Sachs conference, the financial conference. You got American Express, Bank of New York, State Street. They're all going to be presented at the Goldman conference today. We're taking a look at NVIDIA this morning, and the reason why is because they're said to be in talks with ByteDance and Alibaba over its H200 chip as export restrictions have been lifted. Now, DeepSeek apparently has been using chips from NVIDIA, which they're not supposed to be doing, but apparently they are. What else do we got out on the tape today? We got MasterCard, ticker MA. We got GE Vernova, GEV. They both announced share buybacks. More on that in a bit. What else do we have? Then we got to look at the earnings front. I mean, we got AV, we got Casey's General Stores, CASY, we got Cracker Barrel, CBRL, and GameStop, GME. They're all trading lower after their earnings releases. But today, after the bell, you got Oracle, you got Adobe, you got Planet Labs, PL, you got SNPS. They're all expected to release. Okay, let's take a look and let's see what's going on. Let's take a look at the action over in Europe, and we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is down 0.54% this morning. We're seeing some weakness in financials and industrial sectors. But the FTSE is higher by 0.28% because it's, listen, the miners, the stocks are displaying positive action. You see silver's running hot. So we do see some positive action in the FTSE when those metals start to move. The CAC in Paris is down 0.32%. We got this ongoing softness in the luxury sector, and that's weighing on that index. I'm turning the page and looking at last night's action in Asia. We saw the Nikkei fell about a tenth of 1%, 0.10. Sentiment's kind of being pressured by concerns that the Bank of Japan may be raising its interest rates next week. I think that's going to be likely, but we'll have to wait and see. Everybody else is lowering rates. Japan is looking to raise them. The yen did weaken, and that's typically good for equity prices, but it wasn't. But the expectations of a rate hike is offsetting that. Then you look at the Hong Kong exchange, the Hang Seng, which after a couple of days of losses actually closed higher by 0.42%. I mean, listen, they're expecting a Fed rate cut and, potential stimulus out of action out of Beijing. That's what helped that market move a little higher. And then in China fell 0.23%. The Shanghai index fell, mainly because China's November CPI, it accelerated to 0.7% year over year. That was kind of in line with the expectations, but it is the strongest reading in like 2 years. So that is providing a little bit of caution in the air. Okay, now we're looking at oil, and oil is trading higher. It's up about 0.25%. You get WTI trading at $58.45. You get Brent trading at $62.11. Now there are a bunch of upcoming industry reports coming out that will be affecting the market. They're going to be talking about, one report is from OPEC, the other is from the EIA. They're going to be talking about, demand, aspects and their production volumes. Ukraine president said he indicated that he and his EU allies, which I find interesting, that term EU allies, will soon be providing a refined document on proposed peace plan to end the war with Russia. So if that war with Russia ends, you're going to see oil drop. EIA, they're on tap for their inventory report today. API, American Petroleum Institute, estimated 4.8 million barrel decline in stockpile inventory for last week. Okay, let's move on and let's take a look at earnings action this morning. We got to start with Braze, ticker BRZE. Boy, Richard Zebra, Edward. Hey, they reported 6 cents. That was the estimate. Okay. But they did it on higher revenue, and they gave good guidance. You look at the stock; it's up 14.58% this morning. 14.58%. Yes, that was my pick of the day yesterday. Chewy, ticker CHWY, they beat by 2 cents this morning. They did do it on higher revenue, which is nice to see. You look at the stock this morning, and it's off by 4.05%. Upcoming though, today's a big day because you got Oracle coming out this afternoon. Their EPS is $1.63. Expected move is 10.56%. You got Adobe. They're also due out after the bell. Their EPS is $5.39. Expected move is 7.35%. Oracle's really going to be the big one because the fact of the matter is you got to weigh that potential AI spend, which is really the money that they're spending out versus the revenue that's coming in. I mean, they're signing contracts, but will those deals actually turn into real revenue? We don't know just yet. But today's earnings report should give you a little bit of a highlight when Oracle releases earnings after the bell today. Okay, let's talk about economic reports. 10:30 a.m. this morning, you get the EIA oil inventory report. Then at 2 p.m., that's the big one. That's the one everyone's waiting on. That's when the Fed will release its statement on monetary policy. Then it's followed up at 2:30 where Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is going to be giving his commentary in his press conference. That's going to be the key. We're also going to get the dot plot, an updated dot plot, and there's going to be divergences in that dot plot from the Doves versus the Hawks, and it could be pretty wide, showing how the differences between the Fed members on where they stand on the projected path of interest rates. Pay attention to that dot plot because that's going to be a key segment of how the market reacts to today's Fed announcement. Now, the dot plot historically is a poor indicator of interest rates, but still it shows what's going on inside of the Federal Reserve. That's for sure. Okay, let's take a look at the markets real quick and see what we're seeing. I'm looking at my Dow stocks this morning. I got 8 lower. I got 3 unchanged. I got 19 higher. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm showing a little positive activity in Apple, Amazon, and Tesla, which is good to see. Everything else is lower. You're looking at some of the news behind it, like Apple. Apple nominated Disney's former COO to their board. Interesting. They got a real finance guy added to their board. Amazon's planning a $35 billion investment in India by 2030 to boost AI innovation. Google, EU probes Google over its use of online content to power its AI. Then you look at Tesla, which is, continues to move a little higher today. SpaceX, Musk is talking about a SpaceX IPO in 2026, valued at $1.5 trillion. Wow, that's huge. Okay, let's talk about Dow Jones 30 stocks. The big thing right now is the Goldman Sachs Financial Services Conference. Presentations, American Express, presentations, Bank of New York, presentations, State Street. They all could be key today. NVIDIA, NVDA, China weighs NVIDIA chip purchases, an emergency meeting with tech companies. DeepSeek, as I said earlier, they reportedly smuggled in NVIDIA's Blackwell chips for their AI model development. Walmart, ticker WMT, William Michael Tom, they came out and they made an announcement how they're going to be offering express delivery option on Christmas Eve. They're talking about within 1 hour. I mean, that would really boost sales. That's a nice little extra bonus coming out from Walmart. You look at Walmart stocks trading higher by 0.3% this morning. We're talking guidance news. We're talking Cracker Barrel, CRBL. They cut their full year 2026 revenue to $3.2 billion to $3.3 billion. Street estimate was at $3.38 billion. GE Veranova, ticker GEV, they see full year 2026 revenue coming in $41 billion to $42 billion. Street estimate has it at $41.3 billion. Yeah, that's okay. Braze, BRZE. They raised their full year 2026 EPS view to 42 cents to 43 cents. Street estimate has it at 42 cents. That's positive. That's positive. It's an uptick. Talking buybacks, and we're going to start off with MasterCard, ticker MA, Michael Apple. Their board authorized a 14 billion share repurchasing plan. GE Veranova, ticker GEV, they increased their share repurchasing authorization by 10 billion. It was 6 billion. In terms of catalyst calls, we've got to talk about OMC, Oscar, Michael Charlie, Citibank placed a 90-day catalyst watch on Omnicom, OMC. In terms of, there is United Foods International. They're doing a shareholders event today. That's something UFND, I think the symbol is. Okay, let's talk about our pick of the day, which is going to be NTSK, Nancy, Tom, Sam, Kilo, which is Netscope. Recent IPO, but earnings are due out tomorrow morning, and the EPS is for a loss of 25 cents, but the expected move is 11.71%. I look at yesterday's call volume, 2,582 calls, 2,582 versus 409 puts. I look at the open interest, 15,772 versus 3,171. That's positive. Then the major brokers, they're overweight the stock. They like it. This is a cybersecurity stock, so it's in a good space. So, NTSK looks good, but I got to get in at the right price. I'm thinking $22.75 as an entry price. I mean, it's kind of difficult because you got that Fed meeting going on today, and with the hawkish commentary, that could pull everything down. So, I will be on the sidelines a little bit ahead of that, but I'm hoping to make my 1% in the morning before the Fed meeting. If not, I'll just kind of, wait till after the Fed meeting to take another position. But that's my pick of the day, NTSK, Nancy, Tom, Sam, Kilo. All right, let's move on and let's talk about, what's hitting the market in the last 15, 20 minutes, for the news events that could be hot. FITB, Fifth Third Bank, they're seeing closing on the Co-America deal in Q1. P-Lab, Paul, Larry, Apple Boy, stocks up 20% in the pre-market after fourth quarter results and guidance. UNFI, United Foods, providing long-term financial targets ahead of their Investors Day.
Okay.
Hims and Hers, HIMS, HIMS, they're going to be expanding that weight loss program to the UK. That could be something there. HD, Home Depot, provided cautious outlook for 2026 at yesterday's shareholder event. DNLI off by like 8% this morning after the pricing of its spot secondary. AMRX, Apple Michael Richard X-ray, they obtained FDA approval for injections for severe allergic reactions used in hospitals. Airbus came out and they conceded likely defeat in the annual order race against Boeing, saying it was possible that Boeing would win for the first time in 6 years, helped by settlements over U.S. tariff disputes. I don't know if that's really true, but Boeing's got some good planes. You look at Boeing shares are trading higher by 0.3% this morning. Okay, let's move on to our stock of the day segment. For yesterday. Listen, yesterday's pick was Braze. That's ticker BRZE, Boy Richard Zebra Edward. Now the stock opened up at $30 a share. Now that was my entry price. I said $30. And from there it went on to climb and hit a high of $31 for the day and closed at $30.65. So it beat the 1% goal. So done. I'm out. No, I'm not holding on to earnings because I don't have to. But you look at the stock this morning, it's trading $35. I mean, it was up to $35.73. That's like a 14% gain from yesterday. So, that nice move. Braze was a winner, into earnings, BRZE, and even a bigger winning after earnings. But we got to call that a win. Boy, Richard Zebra Edward. All right, traders, that concludes today's podcast. Guys, you know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.